Hello friends, welcome back to a 40k journey. My name is Nate, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I was looking at some of Techmagus Khobotov's work on DeviantArt, and I found one of their pieces that had a servo skull delivering mail, and I thought that was just the coolest thing, so I had to kitbash it. So, I have a letter made out of scrap plastic, and I used a Tamiya scribing tool to put the letter pattern in it, have some clear sprue, and I have the servo skull from the Grey Knight Terminator set, and a 135 scale German cap and messenger bag that I just had in my parts bin because I built a lot of 135 stuff. Didn't have anything that looked like a postal cap. I just had this World War II German trooper cap, so I kind of filed down the back to make it look a bit more like a postal cap. And then I have a Sector Imperialis 28mm base here that I'm working with. And I added a little bit of astrogranite debris to it, help break up the outline a little bit and make it look a little less standard. And yeah, I was really excited to do this. I love kit bashing, and it's just something different. So let's get to it. Started with an overall coat of Mechanicus Standard Gray, just to kind of give it that nice medium gray starting point. And then just using a little alligator clamp on the very end of one of the tendrils to hold it so I don't smudge it. Now I've got my Administratum Grey, and I guess this is a little bit of a Slapchop here because I'm going in and pre-highlighting the cap and the satchel, the messenger bag, so that when we go over them with contrast paint, they will highlight themselves. I'm doing the same thing with the Ulthuan Grey, going on the more extreme highlights before we come in with Snakebite Leather and just go over the messenger bag. And the pre-highlighting made it look fantastic. And really, if we wanted, we could just leave it here. Like, if you thought this was good enough, just keep it. But I'm coming back with some Rhinox Hide to fill in some of the mid-tones, that and to add a little bit of scratching here and there, because when leather gets used a lot, it discolors, and I'm using Zandri Dust, again, on the edges and on the stress points to show that this bag has seen some miles. So, and doing the same thing on the hat, only with Talassar Blue instead of browns. This is going to give us a nice pre-highlighted blue here, mid-blue. And then before I move on to the rest, I am taking care of the metal parts with Iron Warriors. All the cables and the little arm on the left side, and the little cable I added with scrap brass to hold the letter. Now just going over all the metal stuff with Nuln Oil, and then giving it an edge highlight with Iron Breaker to help things stand out a little bit more, give it some nice contrast. And yeah, it was necessary to paint the metal parts before moving on to the rest to avoid complications. But now I'm using Zandri Dust on the actual skull part of our servo skull here. Just making sure, fill in everything. Looking good. Now, giving it a wash in Skeleton Horde. Real quick, a lot of the skull was obscured by the cap, so I'm just using a little Morghast Bone to give it an edge highlight down at the bottom parts. And now I'm using some lightened Caledor Sky to, again, fill in some of those mid-tones and help the cap pop a little bit more. And then I blended some Caledor Sky and some White Scar to do the edge highlighting, just the most extreme highlights around the top of the cap. And I'm using Retributor Armor for the nameplate on the cap, on which I am going to do my best to write the word post with my cheat, my Micron 003 Sepia Pen. And that's pretty much it. Add the letter and the base, and this was a really, really fun, just little one-day side project. So thank you so much for joining me for this quick diversion on a 40k journey. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and consider supporting the channel on Patreon.